getting serious time, ladies and gentlemen. Things have changed. Things have changed. And if you like what you see, I'm talking about this hat. Or even the fuck you Larsonite shirt, which we could talk about. Do we talk about Larson today? Do we talk about it? Do we talk about what we saw this last week by Kyle Larson? Do we? And of course, this, as I've explained to too many people, this fuck you Larsonites is not directed at Kyle Larson. It's the insane Kyle Larson fans. And somewhat the fans that are in the media that manipulate things. You know, we heard about Kyle's Coke 600 and all this stuff, but we didn't hear nothing about how he got beat, you know, in the late model by Bobby Pierce and Jonathan Davenport. That's not important. That doesn't keep the narrative going. You know, we will have some live comments if you want to dabble on in. But we could talk about the Larson deal. I mean, he's doing great in NASCAR. I mean, he should. I still have no idea why Christopher Bell's not up in there dominating with them. You know, of course, Bell won the road course race this year. I thought he was just going to take off, but that's not the case. Not the case. I don't know why. Talent-wise, it's right there. But, and we're going to be talking about the cars and the drivers. Of course, Kyle Larson, in my opinion, should dominate. Just absolutely dominate the Cup Series because he's just far and beyond a better race car driver. Now, he's far and beyond a better race car driver than most in there, except Bell. I'll give it a little bit to Truex. I think Truex Jr. is good. Hamlin. Harvick's pretty good. Busch is all right. Chase Elliott's okay. But, I mean, Larson and Bell, they come from a different breed of animal. You know, when you come from the dirt world and you win USAC and World of Outlaw races, you're beating, you can't find that level of competition on asphalt, even in the Cup Series. I'm a firm believer that the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series, top-level dirt, late model racing is almost twice as hard than the NASCAR Cup Series to run well in. I mean, look at the dominance that Larson did to the Cup Series. And then look at what he did at Lawrenceburg. Yeah, he won. Aaron Reisel had to make a mistake. And then Logan Schuchart had a shot at beating him late in the race. So, I mean, just on this last weekend, and then if we want to account the late model race, he was beat. He fell back to sixth at one point. So, I mean, if we're talking about difficulty to win or do well, we have to look at that stuff. Cup race, he pretty much dominates. He's in a good car finally. He's not in a piece of junk 42. And he did what he did at Charlotte. Of course, a lot of the dirt racers run well at Charlotte. I mean, that's just what happens at Charlotte. Of course, that's where Dave Blaney picked up his Xfinity win. Was at Charlotte. Him and Matt Kenseth, Dave Blaney, won in the Haas Avocado number 32 car, which I believe is the same car that Brad Sweet ran. But the dirt guys do well there. And, was it expected? Maybe. But I still think Larson's just had heads and tails above everyone else in the Cup field, except maybe Christopher Bell. And that's because he comes from this dirt scene that for some reason is just underrated. Some people are calling it Division 2. Hold on, I got to bring that up because that's just hilarious to me. Division 2. Let's see. Somebody said it the other day. Let's bring this up. This is worth bringing up. Of course, we are live here on the Facey page. We have switched over, though, to, we're going to talk about some of this stuff and that stuff right there. I'll zoom in on that, talk about that here in just a second. But when Larson won the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series event, by the way, this is hilarious, that meme right there that I shared on my personal Facebook page. Let's see. I thought I screenshotted it. Yeah, right here. Somebody said, of course Kyle Larson beat the Division 2 guys. GOAT. Of course, referencing greatest of all time, which some would still say that's Steve Kinzer, who his birthday is today. And some are telling me that in private conversation that Steve Kinzer does say that he is still the GOAT, the king. That's what you have to go out there and get 20 championships and all that. Although, once again, that's the problem with sprint car racing, and the main reasons I do not like the Larson character is it's a character, mind you. This Kyle Larson thing is a character. And this character has been plaguing the sprint car dirt racing scene for 30 years. 30 years. Ever since Cole came with this special set of match tires in the Hendrick Motorsports funded movie, by the way. There's trades that are made. And then just so happens after this movie of a sprint car California driver came, 3 years later, here comes Jeff Gordon. Wanted to go to Indy. Ended up going to NASCAR in his rainbow car and, racing the man in black, Rowdy Burns, known as Dale Earnhardt Sr. Just great manipulational tactic. Unbelievable manipulational tactic. I mean, they said that Top Gun was made just to recruit people to the Air Force, which is why Top Gun 2 is about Space Force, because more than likely the next war will be over the next biggest resource, which will be helium-3 on the moon. So they need people to join the Space Force to fight that war for that resource, which is why your Exxon and BP, all these big oil companies are switching to green technologies because they're about to go, turn from the patriarchy to some buccaneers and sell off into the deep blue to take the moon's resources away. Who knows what that implication will be on the planet. I guess the moon moves the waves, but regardless, great manipulational tactic. Back to the character, though, that's plaguing the sprint cars team. At that point, it was Jeff Gordon who all of a sudden, the icon of sprint car racing, was no longer the 20-time champion with 500 wins. It was the guy who wins 7 straight feature wins and 2 World Outlaw Championships and goes to NASCAR. That became the new guy, and you see that ever since then. The superstars of sprint car racing, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, and like I said, just the character. In today's world, it's Larson and Bell. More so Larson now, because he or the system or however it played out worked the politics of the racing world, of the world, period. I mean, when he said the N-word, it hurt him temporarily, but everyone out there who's saying the N-word all of a sudden became his fan because he's the guy that the liberals took his job away. And now you're a fan of his. So now, you notice prior to that, it was always a discussion. Who's better, Larson or Bell? And then since then, Bell's became a second fiddle no one. Now, of course, Larson came to the dirt world, did what he did. But next, my point is on this is that whole transitional period there in the early 90s killed the sprint car star. And now every great sprint car racer that we have lives in the shadow of this guy. And it's not just Larson. It'll be another guy. Here in 5 or 10 more years, there'll be another guy. Who knows? Maybe it's Buddy Kofoid. He'll be the new star. He'll be the big guy. And, of course, you look at our World Outlaw Sprint Car Series. Without the co-trickles, would we even have a full World Outlaw Sprint Car Series filled? I mean, Kinzer comes from a time when the GOAT, like I said, was a sprint car racer. So they were able to make enough money through fan support, attendance, and just overall status to support a sprint car team. Whereas now you got to have a Tony Stewart, a Casey Kane, or somebody who was a co-trickle funding your field. And luckily we have Shark Racing. Luckily we have Roth, to put some cars in there. Luckily we have David Gravel with Husitz and Todd Queering to add a few more teams. Of course, we could say 17 a NOS Energy Drink, but I believe that's Stenhouse Marshall. So there's another co-trickle that's helped out. But regardless, you got these guys calling them Division 2 because of this perspective. You see, when you start cheering on a Kyle Larson more than everyone else, and you start putting him on another pedestal compared to your regular sprint car drivers, that's when the world starts thinking the same. NASCAR uses this age thing that they have brought in with Jeff Gordon, by the way. That was when the young gun surge started. That's when all of a sudden everybody had to be 5 years old in a go-kart and 14 years old in a sprint car. that trend kind of kicked off then too. Ever since then, this age gap manipulation started to occur as well. This is how people trick everyone. It ain't just bringing in a young sprint car driver to NASCAR because he's the next young gun. It's to keep the illusion that NASCAR plays on the regular idiot to make people think that World of Outlaw sprint cars are Division II. Do you not know what I mean by that? Well, it's pretty simple to break that down. And I was talking to a very good NASCAR racer, actually, about this, and he's pretty much on board. He could see it, too, but they get paid to shut up, too. But it's pretty simple. You bring in a young guy who's in his 18 to 22-year-old age to NASCAR because that's how everyone else goes from the AAA to the pro. That's the age range where everyone in all these other sports that the world does understand. That's when they go to the pro level, is in that age range. That's why they don't want a David Gravel or somebody older to make it to NASCAR, because it'll kill that manipulation that NASCAR has to be viewed as this pro level of racing. We all know they're not. In the racing world, we all know it's based on money and income, on how you're selected or in their series, but the regular idiot doesn't know any better. So they bring in somebody 18 to 22 years of age, and he gets in there, and they're like, oh, where did he come from? In other sports, oh, he came from Alabama. Oh, he came from AAA. Oh, he came from the D-League. He's that age range where he's going from one level to the next. And that's basically what they've turned World of Outlaw sprint car racing into. A college, a second tier, a Division II. And they continue that manipulation by bringing in a young sprint car star every so often. And then we continue to celebrate that guy because we're 30 years into a manipulational tactic that has played out very well. But anyways, of course, Kyle Larson beat the Division II guys. Go. Why would this guy say that? Why would people believe that? Well, I just kind of broke that down. It's pretty simple to understand. It's marketing, it's manipulation, it's for advertisement money. That's what it is. The NASCAR teams and everybody get that big-time pro-level sponsorship because they manipulated the society into believing that they are the pros. And that's their greatest defense that they have, and we keep supporting them by putting Kyle Larson over everyone else, calling them Division. The rest of the guys are Division II. And just like I told David Gravel, there's no way for you to beat Kyle Larson. You can beat him, but he cannot beat you. What do you mean? Oh, well, if Kyle Larson beats you, he's the greatest of all time. But if you beat Kyle Larson, something's wrong with the car. The setup is off. There's an excuse, a plethora of reasons as to why you can't outdrive Kyle Larson. He comes around you with a special set of match tires, or the car is wrong. Because just like they say, I don't know how to set up the car. I just know how to drive. Anyway, let's get to the real situation here. This is the real situation. Let's show you. This is it right here. This is the real situation. The King of the Outlaws. The King of the Outlaws. Now, of course, I see some people liking the page. The views are a little bit low, but hell, it's 1:45 Eastern time right now. That means it's 10 or 11:45 on the West Coast, 12:45. 12:45, 10:45 on the West Coast, 12:45 Central. Mountain Time, we're at 11:45. So that's fine. I'm fine with the views I'm getting. But I got killed. My 20,000 like page is just sitting here with no one. Hold on. Let's see this. The beautiful people at Facebook just took my 20,000 like page that I worked so hard to build and just destroyed it. Took it away from me. I have no access to this page, by the way. Which is why I made the switch over to YouTube. If you have not known or paid attention, I have made the switch over to YouTube, and that's where you can find all of my latest videos. We just did a great video with John Westbrook, Westy. It's really good. A really good video that we did. Of course, there's other videos on there, but we've been doing a lot of recent action on there. Got a Devin Borden video coming up. Even talked to Buddy Kofoid, which I like him a lot. I think a lot more guys should be going to Indy cars. We kind of talk about that. Of course, you got Cody Swanson, who should probably be over there. Greg Gunderson. Great guy over there in the Midwest. We got the Aaron Reitzel interview over there. We got me trying on Kyle Larson's pants, which was a very interesting episode. And we got stuff in the works right now. I'm trying to go to BAPS. They have an issue. But we're at 2.1K subscribers over there because I haven't really paid attention to YouTube that much. But if you're wanting to keep up with me, that is where we've been doing most of our action here recently. Of course, you can still join the support links in the description. And we are also, a lot of people are like, why aren't you on the road, Chaz? Why aren't you going down the road? Well, we have somewhat of an issue there with the transportation situation, but we're working on that. The car is making a return. I do believe next week we will find out for sure. Got some things in the works there. But, of course, today is Steve Kinser's birthday. Steve Kinser's birthday. Had to make an announcement there. But this is the news that I wanted to talk about. Donny Schatz in the truck. Donny Schatz in the truck. It was announced yesterday. He put on his Twitter how he was getting ready to announce something pretty big. I messaged him about it over here, but we'll keep private conversation. I found out about it before everyone else kind of knew. But I like to let people, I have this respect thing that people just don't think I do, but apparently is real. But my issue with this, now, of course, it's with DGR, David Gillian Racing. So let's see who David Gillian Racing is. Obviously, it's for performance. But here's the big kicker. Who's their main driver? Oh, boy. Now, everyone remembers a couple years ago when they had the ARCA West, K&N Pro Series West race at Las Vegas. And guess who won that Las Vegas race? In the it was a 3-race weekend at the dirt track of Las Vegas. And they raced K&N West, World Outlaw Sprint Cars, and I believe USAC CRA, or it could have been the 360 USAC Southwest. Hailie Deegan won the dirt race. Donny Schatz won the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series race. Now, we both know, or we all should know, that the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series race was a hell of a lot harder to accomplish and win than the K&N West event. But they did like a little segment on the NASCAR broadcast the next day of Hailie Deegan, actually, they started off with Grassroots, NASCAR Grassroots, the smear campaign, and they featured Donny Schatz. And then they introduced the Queen of Dirt, Hailie Deegan, who won the K&N West. Now, this is all technically marketing. That's how you market. That's how you make when you have that scenario there, you intro Donny Schatz. You say, oh, here's a great grassroots racer. And then you bring in Hailie Deegan. Here's your big winner of the weekend. Oh, well, Hailie, for the dumb idiot out there, once again, Hailie Deegan must be a better dirt racer than Donny Schatz. She's the big winner of the weekend at Las Vegas. Typical manipulation. Beautiful marketing. Beautiful marketing. Just another way to make Hailie Deegan look better than Donny Schatz. On dirt, by the way, for the typical idiot who don't know anything else. But these people are the same people who believe a 900 horsepower, 1,400 pound sprint car is a high school Division II level compared to a 550 horsepower NASCAR Cup vehicle with high downforce. That's the world we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how else to put it to you. That's the world we are dealing with. The world we live in thinks that a 900 horsepower, 1,400 pound car running 140 miles an hour sideways, throwing sliders back and forth on a glass ice slick surface is a Division II level to a high downforce slot car 550 horsepower Cup vehicle. That's the world we live in. And we have to change that, break that mentality. Now, when Donnie told me he was getting in a truck, I said, if they put you in junk to make you look, low and less talented than everyone else, sort of how they did Shane Golobic and Chris Windom at Bristol, I'm going to be so pissed off. I'm going to be so mad. But this is a good race car. This 17 DGR has good equipment. But is DGR wanting Donny Schatz to do well, or are they wanting her to win the race? The Queen of Dirt. Who knows? I know how they marketed this 2 years ago at Las Vegas. I know who they tried to make look like the superstar. But anyways, what I found funny about this is the comments. These comments are hilarious. There are so many people talking crap about Donny Schatz here. Look at this one right here. Washed up in sprint cars, so now he's going to go race. He's got to go race something slower. Well, at least that guy called it something slower. He said, yeah, right. We got 7 replies here. It's hard to hear you over his 10 Knoxville Nationals wins and his 10 World Outlaw Championships. This is true. Read the press release in addition to sprint for Knoxville Nationals. Okay. Here's what I had to say. Schatz could literally dominate any series outside the World of Outlaws right now, and honestly, if it wasn't for an engine change development program, he might still be dominating the Outlaws. Drew says engine program and no Ricky Warner. You give Schatz his Chevy back and Ricky Warner, he'd be the World Outlaw point leader right now. Schatz or Donnie is top 5 in points. So you got some people coming back to logic. How ironic. A truck built made for asphalt, attempting Iowa City, mud, clay, dirt, whatever, however he says it right there. Now, my point to Donnie, I said, if somebody suggests iRacing to you, just don't pay attention. Just don't. If you're going to do iRacing, do it on asphalt. The iRacing asphalt physics are actually pretty good. And you got to learn how to drive these trucks before you need to learn how to drive dirt. These cars obviously are asphalt cars on dirt. It's just like when you put the dirt late model on an asphalt track and it looks like it's on a dirt track. You got to do the same thing here. This is a truck. It's going to drive like a truck. It's going to be on dirt, but it's going to race, drive, and rotate like a truck. So if anybody's suggesting iRacing or something like that to learn how to drive a truck on dirt, don't even do it. Don't waste your time. If you're going to use iRacing, do it on a short asphalt track because the asphalt physics are well, all these years and just now driving a truck. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Joshua Ray. He didn't have, $3.5 million to rent the truck out all year long like Haley Deegan and all these other rich kids do. We got some people talking like stuff they don't know, but it's probably not $3.5 million. It's probably a little less, whatever Monster wanted to pay. But you had this happen, and then, of course, everybody's asking, what about David Gravel? You see this post that was made. Apparently, David Gravel has been offered a ride. If anyone knows of any corporate sponsor or diehard race fan who wants to get on national television on a NASCAR truck, David Gravel is here. Technically, that's what this post is talking about. Now, the funny thing about this post is David Gravel obviously got his NASCAR truck chance after, or a couple races after this. This is a picture with Jeff Gordon and his lover, Mark Webber. He got this shot with DGR. David Gravel actually ran a truck with DGR, and then COVID came along, killed it all. He got one race in, I think finished 10th in his debut at Daytona or something like that. Only got one race. It's pretty sad that David Gravel has not been tapped. Now, they're talking about corporate sponsors and all this stuff. I'm telling you right now, here is the scenario. Here's what I'm seeing. Obviously, you got Donny Schatz racing. He's in a Ford performance vehicle. Not sure on the sponsor. Well, actually, we do have the sponsor, Little Giant, whatever that is. But the other guy who's racing, obviously, Mr. Knoxville running a Kyle Busch Motorsports, number 51. Now, we know that this car is going to be going to be good. But when I hear sponsors, I see on this car, Casey's General Store. Of course, we know he is Mr. Casey's General Stores. He is all about the pizza, Brian Brown. I think that the perfect sponsorship for David Gravel is right here. Why in the world would Come and Go, who is the competitive, this is the competitive store in Iowa. This is who if I'm David Gravel, I'm finding a way to talk to these people because they're not about pizza, you know. They're about come and go. They're about natural spring fucking water. They ain't about, you know, ginseng energy drinks. They're about water. What's supposed to go into your body. I mean, we could talk about the health implications of these other places. Now, Rowdy Energy Drink has a different formula, which is actually not that bad. But we're over here talking about unsweet tea and water with Come and Go. If I'm David Gravel, I'm figuring out a way to talk to Come and Go because Come and Go and Casey's, for those who have not been in the Iowa area, Come and Go and Casey's is like Chevy and Ford. They're competitors in the same realm. In that area, it is Come and Go or it is Casey's. That's the two places you go to. Now, obviously, Casey's is involved because of Brian Brown. Obviously, Casey's is involved into the dirt scene around there. I don't know how much Knoxville would enjoy if a Come and Go truck rode off into the area because this is a competitive situation right here. If David Gravel was to come on board into the NASCAR race with a Come and Go truck and there's a Casey's General, I don't know. This is kind of like when Dietrich and Reitzel had their issue. I don't know why the marketing people at either side of that deal didn't say, we literally have beef with a Weikert Livestock and a Roth Cattle Company car. Why are we not making this marketing why is this not a situation here? Why are we not spinning this? I mean, obviously, whatever personal issues they have between one another, that's one thing. We could be spinning this into a hell of a marketing game here. Just like NASCAR's done with Larson and Bubba Wallace. They've used them. Exploited them for their personal gain. I guess that's big business. That's how it works, right? Well, Weikert versus Roth would have been a great story. And this could be an amazing story in Iowa. At the Knoxville truck race, you could have the Casey's General Store truck with Brian Brown versus the Come and Go truck of David Gravel. That is like gold. I don't know why. Somebody please get on the phone because somebody's got the connections. I know that Come and Go isn't in dirt racing. Obviously, this is a NASCAR spin. Could lead to some dirt racing involvement. But this is the perfect sponsorship for David Gravel. Come and Go. The Ford to the Chevy, or the Chevy to the Ford. Hell, bring out a Toyota. Actually, the Toyota car. So it's Toyota. Chevy hates Toyota. So David Gravel, get a Chevy truck rent-a-ride, which is what they're trying to do here. It's a rent-a-ride. It's rich people go-karts, ladies and gentlemen. That's what NASCAR is. If you ain't figured it out, it's rich people go-karts. That's all that shit is. Come and Go and on a Chevy versus Casey's General Store on a Ford. Brian Brown, the king of Knoxville, who can't win the Knoxville Nationals, versus David Gravel, who goes to Knoxville every now and then but wins the Knoxville Nationals. Come and Go versus Casey's. This is it. This is the sponsorship for David Gravel. The big red circle, not the big blue oval. The big red circle. Come and Go. That is it. That is who I think should be the sponsor of David Gravel. That's who I think it should be. Right there. We'll look at some comments real quick. I think I have my live production studio up there. Somebody said, great explanation. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in on the comments here. Great explanation. Yeah, I mean, and that's 16 minutes ago with the Larson situation. It's very sad. The game that has been played with NASCAR and dirt racing. I hope that more people can wake up to that. Like when I get upset at Larson or Larsonites, it's definitely not Kyle Larson. I like Kyle Larson. For some reason, he likes me. I don't fucking know why. But probably because I make him feel normal. Y'all are all out there kissing his ass 24/7. Somebody like me finally says some stuff, and it's not just, kissing his ass and licking his balls, and I make him feel normal for fucking 15 minutes in a video for once. That's probably why he likes me. But anyway, there's going to be another Kyle Larson come in another 5 to 10 years. It's probably Buddy Kofoid. They're grooming him right now at Toyota. And now he is set to be bigger than the sprint car star. We got to break that cycle. We got to get this respect back to the David Gravels, back to the Donny Schatzes. And then, heck, even get some respect back to the local superstars. I mean, Macri and Deweese's race this last week at Port Royal was amazing. Macri pushed it a little bit too high, but that's because Deweese, he had to push it that hard in 3 and 4 because Deweese was taking the air off of him on the top of 1 and 2. So Macri was trying all he could to get some type of damn big-ass run on Deweese's bumper going into 1 and 2 and throw a slider on him. He did what he had to do. But that was some great racing. So anyways, that's what I think. That's what I see going on. This video will be going on to YouTube. If you haven't, or if you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, fuelox.com. If you use the code TheChazz, you get 15% off of your order. If you want to join the support, links are in the description. If you got a small business as well, we can help you there. T-shirt designs, anything like that, send me a message. I can get it done for you really, really cheap, really well, really done. Pretty damn bad at professional stuff at almost 50% discount. That's my personal gig I got going on. Any kind of marketing tools that you need. Obviously, the dirt racing world needs me to exploit some of their marketing issues, but the greatest show on dirt is not Division 2, and if you think so, you can kiss my ass. You're a dumbass. You don't know racing, and if you hate Bubba Wallace, you don't know the guy at all. Bubba Wallace is actually pretty cool. I think he voted for Trump. Oh, wait. Y'all probably don't know that at all. Y'all don't know that at all. Y'all just know what NASCAR told you about him. That's all you know is what NASCAR told you about Bubba Wallace. That's all right. Let them exploit him like they exploit everybody in this damn thing. Just like the sport, just like everything. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'm still in Pennsylvania, hopefully back on the road come next Monday. The support could go a long way. Thanks for tuning in to the Chaz. Of course, if you want to watch most of the stuff we're doing, we got it going on at YouTube. And if you want some apparel like the hat that I have on, they're available on longlivethechazz.com. Also, when you join the support, you get your name on all of our videos that we put out. And then, of course, on all the apps, music and more, all the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, all that. You can check out some more of the productions here that we got going on. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you next time here on Long Live the Chaz, the new Facebook page that has not been taken away from the deep state of Facebook. I'm not going to call it liberals because that's mean. That's mean. Liberal arts for the win. There you go. Hey,
I know we ain't really rode a lot, nah. But come June 6, we got to get up this pony ride. Of me and you, a dream come true on the Bailey side. Pacific time, Southern kind, and that Barbie Malibu.